See, this says 45%, but I know that's total items. I mean, when you look at my energy tanks, we got... What? I can math. I can count. We got 11 out of 14. So, I expect that we're decently far in. Anywho. Yes, it was very nice to take that little vacation, be somewhere where I was more disconnected from everything than usual. Frankly, probably a good thing for me. Honestly, the biggest hiccup, I'll call it, the biggest frustration that I ran into during it was getting to the plane on the way out. What were we trying to do? Hang on. Let me... Oh, God, we're hitting all the wrong buttons. This button. You have a thing that tells me what I'm trying to do again? Because it's been a week. My brain's not totally there. Okay. We just got the grappling hook. Okay. Go places where I know a grappling hook works. We are in the phase on mines. I thought we were at, like, the edge of it. Okay. But yes. So, my trip out was requiring me to get to a airplane that was leaving at 6 a.m. And since it's international, you gotta have a little extra time, you know, all that good stuff. But the really frustrating thing that happened is the public transit has a like shuttle line or train line that goes to the airport, which is great. The part that was less great is that shuttle line, for whatever reason... Is there a reason I didn't go through there? There must be. That shuttle line, on my phone, on the, like, public transit website, all that stuff was like, yo, there will be a train at the stop near your house at 3:09 a.m. And I was like, great, because that's the one I'm gonna need to take to make sure I get to the airport early enough to make sure I can get through everything and not have to deal with any weird possible extra stuff I have to go through thanks to it being a international flight. And that train I got there at 3 a.m. So I was 9 minutes early. That train just never showed up. I gave it an extra 15 minutes as kind of a just in case. Boom. But it never showed up. So I ended up like calling a taxi, which was, you know, an extra $40 that I had not desired or was expecting to spend to make sure I could get to the airport. So that was very frustrating. But the trip itself, the actual being there, like the flights were fine other than, dear God, the amount of not masking people are doing that I just find more than surprising. I'm shocked at how little people want to mask. Especially when you're just on a fucking tube a tiny tube with recycling air. Like, people are crazy. But, you know, I wore a mask the whole time. In the airports and on the planes. Making sure I'm keeping myself as safe as I can. And that first day with my friends was basically, hey, I'm very tired. We are all happy to see each other. I'm going to take a nap. And I definitely did take a nap at some point during that first little bit with them. Really, that's a lot of what we were doing, though, was just eating delicious food and relaxing as best we can. All of us could. It was great. The other big thing I did was I saw a bunch of my friends from when I lived out there. We did on Saturday night a bigger get together, what I'll call it. I think it was 8 of us total, which is kind of about my thing I can get here. The fact that the camera changes there kind of makes it feel like maybe there was something there, but I guess not. Okay. 8 of us all together, which is kind of around the edges of what I am comfortable with. Just because it's people. It's a lot of people, and I'm a scared little guy. I think I'm trying to go up. Yes. But that was really nice. I got to see a bunch of my friends, get a bunch of hugs, played some board games, ate a bunch of food. In fact, one of the hosts, because a couple of my friends now have like a house and stuff, which is wild. My friends with a house hosting made some kind of, I'm not 100% sure what the meal was. It seemed like semi-reminiscent of a risotto, but I don't think it was a risotto, and it had like a green onion sauce to get kind of mixed into it in some fashion. That was really tasty for dinner. And one of my other friends made some like bruschetta as like an appy. And Court and I made some mostly raspberry and blueberry, but with a little bit of mango in it, cobbler or like crumble, I guess. Like a crumble fruit dessert. So that was all very good. Making your mouth water. Honestly, the real shocker as far as mouth-watering stuff, there was a Chinese restaurant we went to on one of those days, and I guess they're like closing at the end of this week, like permanently. They're just not because like they're a failing business or something, just like they're not continuing to do what they are doing. They are done with what they've been doing. But it's like I think probably vegan, but at least completely vegetarian restaurant. And it was probably some of the best, if not the best, vegan food I have had. In that None of it felt like it was trying to pretend to be meaty foods, right? That's usually my problem with most vegetarian stuff, is it's like they are trying to make it an alternative rather than just making good vegetarian food. But we got like a bunch of food there, which included like a tofu and black bean stir fry thing that was super good. There was like a sweet and sour pork-ish style thing, but it was like these little like balls, I guess. I don't know how else to describe them. There were these little balls of like batter of some kind with a veggie inside, some sort of a vegetable inside, with a sweet and sour sauce that was frankly incredible. True vegetarian stuff is really good. Yeah. I'm like, I knew that. That's not like a surprise that, hey, when you're just making actual vegetarian stuff, it's actually good. I'm always doing like Indian curries and stuff are usually how I experience that stuff. How do I get... Oh, there's a spider ball. How do I get up there? The spider ball. That's how. Boop, boop, boop. Bony bacon, vegetarian cheeses. Yeah, exactly. Most of that stuff I'm just not huge on. The people I was staying with, I don't think they're like vegetarian necessarily, but I know. So I was staying with 3 people. One of them I used to live with and at least didn't really have dietary issues in the past, but more recently has been having issues with dairy, as well as has been like figuring out that coconut might be an issue for them. One of the other people I was staying with, though, does have a bunch of dietary issues, which means, and this has been true for them for as long as I've known them, no dairy, no peanuts, no eggs. And the third, oh gosh, the third person I was staying with, I think it's, they aren't vegetarian, but I think the only meat they would do is chicken. I don't live with these people. I can't remember all their dietary stuff, but like, point is, there was enough wild dietary stuff that like, this very good vegetarian place is a place that all of them know they can basically eat everything on the menu, which is big. One of the reasons it was like, hey, if we're doing a big dinner together as the 3 of us, what is a place that you all know you can eat and get delicious stuff that we can go to and just make sure that everybody's able to have a good, enjoyable meal. So that's the thing. They're not going out of business. They are closing their business. And that's the part where it's like, going out of business just feels like the wrong term, I guess. Because it's not like they are failing. It's just they are moving on to do other stuff or retiring in some fashion. Like, you know what I mean. Sad for my friends? Yeah. They have a bunch of other stuff that I know they can eat. Hi, Pushing Buttons. You want me to do a 1-minute review of this game? I can do that for you. Whoa. Give me a moment to gather my thoughts on it, though, and then I will continue other stuff I was talking about. Okay, 1 minute review of Metroid Prime Remaster. The remaster has been really awesome in that it is a completely faithful redo of the game. I have seen pretty much nothing different other than maybe the way that other than the graphics, I guess, is the big thing. And what I mean by that is I'm playing the classic controls, and while those controls are absolutely insane by today's standards, even I am struggling with them, it's fascinating to see that choice, the choices they made in that way, and understand why and feel like, hey, this game is really built around this. And so it doesn't feel bad to play, it just feels strange. Hey, Plasma Beam! I didn't remember that this is where I get that. Awesome. But the game itself, it's all the same game, and it holds up way better than I sort of expected. When the game originally came out, it was a 10 out of 10 for me. This remake, I actually think is a little bit worse. Not because the game is worse, but because there are a few things about the remake specifically that I think in the original version of the game didn't take you out of it in the same way that they do now. Where the consistency, for example, of graphics in the original made everything kind of feel more cohesive, whereas the few spots where the graphics feel a little bit subpar compared to what most of the graphics have been updated to, makes it feel like a bigger pull out in a way. It makes it more noticeable when the graphics do something that is less than as good as they in most cases are. So really the remake I'd probably only give like a 9 out of 10, but it is still a fantastic game. For one of my favorite games of all time, I'm really glad it holds up. So we're giving it a 9 out of 10. 4.5 out of 5. I didn't fill up my water before stream. I take a whole week away and I forget to fill up my water before stream. Shame on me. Well, now we got the plasma beam. I can go all kinds of places. But what else did I do? My vacation, it really was a lot of laying around, cuddling with some friends, relaxing as best we can. Just really... I know I will... God dang it. I know I will sometimes say that I don't necessarily have the best track record for decompressing these days here at my house. That is really what I focused on, was decompressing. And I swear, here's the one other thing. I feel like the grappling beam in the original was way better at being like, there's a grapple point here, let me grapple beam it. I feel like, and maybe that is memory, maybe that is false memory, but my brain says I could just jump into a pit with a grappling thing and hit the grapple button and it would work, and I didn't have to like look at it. Water time. Okay, well now I have to actually go get some water. Hang on. Hang on. BRB. That's a vacay. Yes, yes. Alright. I'm back. And I actually have water now. Thank you for the water. Shame on me for forgetting it. Get my headphones back in. Okay. But other than that, you know, on the vacation, I spent a lot of time doing my best to relax with everybody, and I spent, other than that, it was mostly time just, like, chatting. We watched a little bit of some of the animes and everything that we're all keeping up with. Which, for those of you who have been keeping up with anime, I feel like feel like there's a thingy I can grab in one of these spaces. Where is my logbook? Artifacts. Tower. Sun chamber. I need to go back to the sun chamber at some point. One of these about a thingy in here somewhere. Thing's edge. No. I feel like there's a thing I can destroy somewhere in here. Let's see if I can find it. Or an artifact piece that I know we're gonna need eventually. Ba, ba, ba. Did I ever do this, by the way? I feel like we didn't do this yet. Seems like a mistake. I think we've had access to this for a very long time. But yes, anime. I have been watching the newest, or continuing to watch rather, the newest Gundam Witch from Mercury stuff. Which, the episode this week was fucking rough. Like, god dang. Gundam series are always about, like, yo, war's terrible, child soldiers, all of this is very bad. But this week's, didn't even have, like, the main person in it, Soletta Mercury. She, like, wasn't even in the entire episode. And I feel like this episode was maybe one of the roughest watches from a, like, everything is fucked, war is terrible, child soldiers getting super messed up perspective. Fellas, I'm not here for you. Doesn't seem like the right spot either, actually. How far back am I trying to go? That's not it. Map, help me. Trying to go this way. Behind me. Behind me and up. Ba, 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 ba. And of course, the new Demon Slayer, just because I think that show's generally fun. This latest arc has been a little weird, though. We're only on episode 3, and it's already, like, going full in on the... Well, that's not it. Or I need super missiles. Can't scan that one, so this maybe isn't... Or not super missiles, mega bombs, whatever they're called. One of these pillars in the middle of a lava room. This one. There we go. I knew I remembered one of those. The one of nature. Great. Definitely in my way, Mr. Snaky thing. Bang, 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 bang. But we watched those. Those are fun. Has anyone else been watching those shows? Like the latest Gundam series, I've been enjoying a lot in many ways. I mentioned it. I feel like it was just this October or something that it was airing that like first bunch. I remember talking about it a little bit while playing Alien Isolation, not the game. And the beginning of that series definitely like feels very like, oh, this is gonna be kind of like a high school drama style thing. Like maybe a little bit high school-y stuff going on, because that's like what they're doing. With the Gundam universe. I am right next to the Sun Chamber, which I know I need to go in. Let's go into the Sun Chamber. But this latest season has definitely gone much heavier into, hey, you know, some of the real fucked up shit that was happening at the end of the first bunch. What if all of that just way worse? This latest episode has a guy from the early on part of the series who, honestly, total jerk early on. Would not have ever thought to myself, I'm going to feel like this guy maybe is getting way worse than he deserves, but holy shit. This character, is getting shafted. Those might not be available on non-premium Crunchyroll. That makes sense. Fair enough. Where's the other two for these dang thing? Bugs, can you stop spawning? It would actually be so helpful. Anything I can see with this? Yes, that actually does kind of help. There's one. Where's the last one? The new Demon Slayer, though, has been really funny just because they're 3 episodes in and shit is popping off. I was expecting a little, more people hanging out or whatever. A little more cool down, I'll say, between the end of the last season or last arc and this one kind of popping off. Saw that ghost. Where is he? Ghost want to fight? No? Yes. Ghosts! heck you going? Sir, stop dashing into me. One more right. X-ray visor, very funny, because I can lock onto people outside of my actual vision. Oh. Another one? No. Stuff. I guess you can come back and do that. Maybe way earlier than I did. Artifact of Wild. Hooray. So these artifact things I do, in fact, need to get all of. I definitely don't remember where they all are, but that's fine.